All right, we're going to try this again. What's up, everybody? My name is Jason. I'm the youth pastor here at Alpine Church. I've been having some technical difficulties. I think we're roll this time. So, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I want to start out this video like I have my other videos and just shout out to the medical professionals, first responders, firefighters, law enforcement, just everyone who the rest of us are relying on to get back to normal as quickly and safely as possible. Normal, whatever that's going to look like. And of course, thank you to teachers, right? And for those of us in Davis County, today marks the first day, the last week of school, and I just want to say thank you, Jesus. To all my teachers growing up, I am so sorry that you had me in your class. And to my kids' teachers, I am praying for you and thank you. So if you caught our Sunday service yesterday, you heard some pretty exciting news. And in case you didn't catch our service or you haven't heard, all Alpine campuses will be having live services by the end of this month. So that's a big deal. And real quick, just let me say that if you're not ready for that yet, that's okay. We're still going to have our live services, so you can, if you're a high risk individual, if you're just not feeling very well on Sunday, if you're just not ready for that step yet, we completely understand, and so we invite you to continue joining us on Facebook Live and on pursuegod.org for those live services. So even more exciting for me is this news means that we will be resuming our regular Fusion youth services on Wednesday and Thursday nights beginning that first week in June. So students who are watching this or parents who have students who aren't watching this, make sure you're following us at alpine.fusion on Instagram for more details as we get closer to those dates. And I think as Christians, we have an amazing opportunity as we talk about and start to prepare to go back to regular services. Right now there's so many people who are living in a state of fear and uncertainty. And not just from COVID-19, but about their futures and just what life is going to look like when this is all over with. So we all probably know someone who is really worried or stressed about what's to come. And my question is, does that person know Jesus? Does that person know Jesus in their life? And maybe you don't know somebody like that. Maybe you don't know somebody who's really struggling with stress and anxiety about what's going on right now. But I bet there's somebody in your life that you have wanted to invite to talk to about God. And listen, I know that the talking about God with a non-believer isn't always the easiest thing to do. And so I want to try to help you guys out. I want to give you 3 tips to help you start a spiritual conversation, which will hopefully lead to a mentoring relationship or an invite to a small group or even an invite to Sunday service. So here we go. The first tip to starting a spiritual conversation is to ask worldview questions. Okay, ask worldview questions. These questions that will help you understand the lens that they see the world through. So that can be questions like, do you believe in God? Just simply, do you believe in God? Or what are human beings and where did we come from? Or what do you think happens after we die? And of course, the granddaddy of them all is what's the meaning of life, right? What is the purpose of all of this? And these kind of questions will help you to understand where they're coming from, but also it will hopefully give you an opportunity to right? And so remember that this is a conversation, right? You're on equal grounds here with this person. It's not meant to be a teacher-student discussion, okay? So that's the tip, is ask worldview questions. The second tip is to ask personal questions. Okay, ask personal questions. Ask them about their hopes and their dreams and their values. What makes them tick. So it's questions like, what makes you happy? And why? Why do those things make you happy? Or you could ask goals. What are your goals in life? You could ask them, what do you want people to remember about you? If you have a great relationship with this person, you're close enough. Ask them like, hey, do you have any regrets in your life? What's the one thing that you, right? Because that's a big one, and depending on their answer, why not? So the purpose of these questions is to get to the root of why these things are important to them. Why do these things matter to them? And as you hopefully get to share your views and your hopes and your views, you may get them to consider things in a way that they never have before. And then finally, the last tip is to talk about apologetics. Most people love to talk about the things that they believe in. Okay, and a great way to start a conversation is to ask people how they logically arrived at those beliefs. Questions like, how did this belief start for you? Where did this belief start for you? Have you read books about it? Have you read any other religious books or philosophical books? You could ask them, what do you know about Jesus and the Bible? And I get it. I get not all of us are going to be into apologetics, and that's okay. You don't have to be a Bible scholar to talk to somebody about Jesus, but listen to what Paul says in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. He says, always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the hope that you have. Right? So always be prepared to give an answer for why you have this hope. Right? So do you know why you believe what you believe? And can you explain that to somebody? That's a great starting point to apologetics. And here's the thing is people are often caught off guard when you share with them that your belief in God and his word are rooted in logic and reason. Okay, that throws people off, and it'll usually lead to one of two responses. The first response will be more questions, right? They want to know more about believe that and how you came to those conclusions. Second response will be objections, right? And so, but either way, that opens up the door for you to continue the conversation with them. And I think by talking to people about their beliefs and how they arrived at those beliefs, you can really get them thinking about life and spirituality and other deep topics. In philosophy, this is known as the Socratic method, right? And it's named after one of the greats, Socrates, right? And so the idea behind this is it's basically a form of argumentative dialogue. I know that sounds bad, we don't want to argue, but it's not. It's a form of dialogue between individuals based off of asking and answering questions that lead to critical thinking, right? It can bring out ideas that we have about things. It can bring out underlying presuppositions, right? And so it's really a good thing to get each other to critically think about the beliefs that you have. So here's the deal: people are lost right now, right? More so than usual, and they need Jesus. In Matthew 28, Jesus in the Great Commission, he says to go and make disciples of all nations, right? So we have a part to play in this. Jesus, he doesn't say like, hey, welcome, I'm glad you're here, now watch me work, right? So he says go. He says go and make disciples, and one of the ways that we can do that is with conversation. So who do you know that doesn't know Jesus? Right? I want to challenge you to use one of these tips to start a conversation with them, or if you have a better method that works for you, go with that. Whatever it is, right? Just start a conversation with these people, and then invite them over for dinner, invite them to your small group, invite them to church, and eventually invite them into a relationship with Jesus. And I promise you that will change both of your lives forever. Ask worldview questions, ask personal questions, and talk about apologetics. Those are the three tips for starting a spiritual conversation. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope this has been encouraging. There's some questions down below that will hopefully help you get a little more comfortable with starting a conversation. I hope that God has already put somebody on your heart that you can go and talk to. If not, I encourage you just to talk about this with your family, with friends, with your small group, with a mentor, and just take some time to think about who in your life I think I've just lost connection. I hope we're back. I apologize again, just more technical difficulties. But like I was saying, just take some time to think about who needs to hear from you, and ultimately who needs to hear from Jesus. And of course, be praying for God to put somebody on, open those doors, those opportunities for conversation with that person. Thank you again for spending a few minutes with me today. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you again in person. But that's all I got. So I love you. God bless, and we'll see you soon.